Guys, Wayne Fillmore, and we are live. We're going to be talking about poverty, unemployment, strictness, and just plain right being poor. Mike, you want to start it off?
With scripture, or should we do that video or something?
Well, start off with scripture, and
Okay,
one of us can share our screens and share the video.
all right. I can find more scripture as we go along because Proverbs is all about gaining wisdom so you don't have a bad lot in life. So, all right. We're going to start with Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5 onward. Let's see. Get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not. Neither decline from the words of forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding. When we talk about wisdom in the Bible, especially in Proverbs, it's just talking about using the Bible as your source of wisdom. Nothing else. Of course, you can get wisdom outside of the Bible. It's just according to Proverbs. If thou turn to promote thee, she shall bring thee to honor when thou dost embrace her. She shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings, and the years of thy life shall be many. I have taught thee the way of wisdom, I have led thee in right paths. And if anybody's wondering why Solomon's talking about sons, because he left these proverbs for his son to read because he had failed them, because he was into witchcraft most of his life, or half of his life, I'm not sure. And that's why he's speaking to them because they had the children, like his wives were his concubines and all that. Take fast hold of instruction, let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of life and drink the wine of violence. But the path of the just is the shining light, and the shine that shineth more the perfect day. The way of the wicked is as darkness, they know not what they stumble. My son, attend to my words, incline thine ear unto my saying. Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. Okay. It's not talking about, wisdom. It's just avoiding wickedness. So let's kick off with, I don't know,
Well,
anything. What do you guys think?
basically, one of the main reasons I got out of that scripture is one of the main reasons why people are in poverty is for the sheer reason that they don't have wisdom. And I honestly believe that. I honestly believe, and also, uh, I also believe that poverty is a generational curse. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think it's generational because poverty is passed on from one generation to the next generation to the next generation. Why are many kids? Why is our generation poor today? Because their parents were poor, and their parents were poor, and their parents were poor. And riches is a blessing that's passed on. Not necessarily saying that all riches come from God, but it is a
yeah,
blessing from somebody or somewhere.
yeah, yep. You'll find that most of the people alive today are either poor because their parents were poor or they're rich because their parents were rich. So they inherit what their parents give them. And if it's nothing, then they get nothing. They inherit nothing, which is an
Right.
inheritance. Inheritance of nothing. And then there's inheritance of money and wisdom of money. That's the big key, right? Key understanding. Money and wisdom.
Well, what is the key way of getting wealth? How do we get ourselves out of these situations? Is it going to school, right? Is it getting an education? Is it going to vacation Bible school? Is it how do we as a people of a poverty stricken generation rise up and get out of poverty? Me being black, and I'm not even using this as a crutch, but statistically, most black people don't own anything. They have nothing to give their kids. They get a job, they work for 40 years, right? And they don't even save their 40 years. Throughout their 40 years, they are struggling. They're trying to pay bills. They're trying to pay rent. And then on top of it, they got kids. And then if you're a black man and you have kids, then you got to pay child support. You have nothing to save. And so you don't have anything to give to your kids. Unless you take out like an insurance policy or whatever. I don't know what the guidelines are for that. You guys know how that works?
What
Say that
was
again?
Taking out an
Sorry.
insurance policy for your kids so they can inherit something,
Yeah,
money.
yeah. There's that, and you can also do a will, and like you can get insurance policies that kind of supplement stuff for your kids.
Well,
And
don't you have to make a certain amount of capital so you can even get the policy in the first place? Like, there
I don't
surely
think
has to be
so.
like.
I'd have to look back into it. I used to study insurance, but I believe there's like a certain plan you can get. You can put a certain amount of money in it for so and so years until your death.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, crazy. But
So
you,
I
you,
know that per state, when you mentioned what was it, a will, and wills per state, it varies on the laws of how something can be. You have to check your laws. You have to check your
Yeah.
state's laws. You have to check your countries and your specific city and capital, what their laws are for your state, what it means to receive your inheritance from a will. If you're getting any, if most of the bill property goes to the state, if it goes to one particular person, if it goes in Oregon, it's very straightforward. And I learned about it a long time ago, and it's a big deal. It's something that a lot of people don't know about. Wills are a big deal. That way, if you're asking or something, you have to know law. You have to. It's just not an option. You have to. That way you're prepared for what's coming when your parents die. You know,
Yeah.
if you're smart enough, you need to talk to your parents about getting a will prepared for them. For you specifically, you need to talk to your parents. It's a big deal. I'm not joking. If you don't claim it before they die, then the government's gonna do whatever they want to you. Whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Um, uh, um, go back to the poverty thing.
well, in my opinion, I mean, I've always heard, go to college. You gotta go to college so you can make money, and you go to college so you can get a job. And after you go to college, you get that degree. And even with the whole like I was saying, uh, most black women they go to college and they try and get the job and get the degree, and then they think like at the end of their 4 year or whatever college, they think that there's gonna be a man waiting for them at the end of the rainbow. And then men go to college thinking that it's gonna be a job waiting for them at the end of the rainbow. I honestly think that it's probably easier nowadays for a woman to get a job rather than a man because
Yeah, if
most
they
women.
don't choose studies for their major, women's studies is worthless. You can't do anything with it. And that's what a lot of them go to college. I mean, I'm not gonna say all of them, but from what I hear, stereotypically, women go for women's studies, which is a completely worthless degree. It doesn't do anything for me. I mean, cool, you know about the history of women. That's nice. But what's the history of women gonna do for you in a job? Nothing,
Nothing.
unless your specific degree is literally in women's studies, which is mostly just going to be about the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and anything before that, it's just going to be misogynistic.
Well, women's
Um,
studies today have to do with twerking and getting drunk and going out clubbing. I mean, that's women's studies today. That's like anthropology. Like that's modern
how much?
anthropology. That's true. That's what women's studies are today. Like, oh, and have you guys heard about the hashtag Don't Waste the Time 2016 and all this crap?
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
read about.
that's women's studies today. Going out and like, but dude, a lot of women today like they only want to date men who are rich, and that's how a lot of women get. That's how a lot of women got out of poverty. Most women, all they have to do is find like a good man who makes money, and he'll take care of him, and I mean he'll take care of her when and scoop her up, and let her live in his house, and just that's basically how women get out of poverty. They use men so they can get out of their situation, but men can't do that a lot of times. Men can't do that.
Well, there's two sides to that. There's the one side is there are women who, you can be a woman who chases after a guy with, Mr. Moneybags. That's your business. Do it. I don't care if he's gonna fall for that. Let him. Um, and as far as like, beautiful women getting with, good-looking guys who are rich, and then there's average and whatever.
You still there?
Yeah.
Um. So even like this thing with the Powerball, we were talking about this thing with the Powerball, and the chances of winning are like slim to none, or basically, I mean, your chances of winning are none most likely. I mean, like you ain't gonna win.
You're gonna evolve before you do that.
Oh man.
It's gonna take you millions of years, but I mean, it's just we have this we have all been pitched this dream in America that like the only way to get out of poverty is getting an education. Which getting an education is what's the word? It's imperative. It's imperative if you want to make a large amount of money. But do you necessarily have to go to college to get that education? Like when people say you need to get an education, how come you have to go to school? How come you have to pay to get an education? I mean, even nowadays we got dude, everything you need to know is on the internet. It's everything you need to know is online. If you have an internet computer, everything you need to learn about anything is online. And what I've noticed is a lot of these schools, they're actually doing what the Bible says in Romans 1 is that they withhold the truth from people. They have a certain knowledge on how to do something or how to do a certain skill like engineering, right? Or even website designing or whatever it may be. They have the knowledge on how to do these things, but in order for you to get it, you have to pay for it, which basically means you need to buy this information. That's what they're telling you. You need to buy this information from us. And before we didn't have as much stuff on the internet, and before as many people use the internet as much as they did today, people, colleges and stuff could do that. They could say, well, the only way you can know about website design and the only way you can know about engineering, the only way you can know about this or that is by coming to our school and learning about it, and you have to pay us X amount of dollars to learn about it. But now, because we have so many resources available to us, even for free online, like, dude, like, even like a couple of 40 years back, right? If you wanted to learn about flood geology, right? If you wanted to even learn about biology or creation science, right? You had to go to college, right? You had to go to college so you could learn about biology, geology, anthropology, and all those things. And after you did that, I mean that was pretty much it. That was the only way you could learn about certain things. That was the only way you could gain knowledge about the thing you wanted to learn about. But now, if I wanted to learn knowledge about construction or engineering or even I could YouTube how to build a computer from scratch. And like just like that, I could get the knowledge and information for free. For free.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get to. Like college is just all college gives people now is a piece of paper. All the information you can find in there, you can find out here too. It's like all available.
Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, like college is the worst years of people's lives. Dude, a couple years back, there was a young girl here in Philly. She went to University of Penn. She jumped off a parking lot on ledge. And she killed herself. It was like a 3 or 4 story parking lot ledge, and she killed herself. And she was so stressed she killed herself.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't see anything out of colleges but people being stressed out and people not having any real knowledge. There you go. Pastor Steve, he said it this way. Pastor Stephen Darby, that's a mention. He said it this way. He said people are going to college so they can get degrees and stuff like that, but they're not really learning anything. They don't know anything about CERN. They don't know anything about the elite. They don't know anything about the Federal Reserve. They don't know anything about even making a business loans or capital. They don't know anything about anything. They don't know anything that's really going to help them in life. They have all these degrees, but they're still so dumb. Dude, Tim, most of these college students don't know anything about the stuff that's behind you on your wall. They don't know anything about this stuff, and they have degrees.
Yep. Exactly.
Go ask a college graduate with a bachelor's degree, who runs the Federal Reserve? Who really runs the world? Who are the elite? Give me one name of one of the elite bankers whose family made the Federal Reserve in 1914. Ask them about the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. They won't know. They won't know.
They won't. It's that information that gets withheld from. That's why college has been a main indoctrination tool of the Illuminati to draw people into Gnostic stuff like evolution, like pretty much in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and also somebody just commented on my post too, and I just talked about this on Facebook. You know, all we want nowadays is a job, especially black people, man. And I can say this because I am black. I don't care what anybody say. You don't like this, you can leave. Like, you don't have to watch the YouTube channel. I'm gonna say it, but all black people want is a job. They just want somebody to pay them. They don't want to. I mean, even that isn't that really being lazy? I just want somebody to pay me. I just want somebody. Why can't us as people? And now I'm talking about us in general. Why can't Americans in general, as poor people, how can we just all don't put our money together and we all do for ourselves instead of asking this government to do something for us? They're not going to. They're never going to help you. Even if all the poor people in the U.S. put our money together and we made one country bank, the United States Bank, or a treasury or something. Why can't we put our money together and make I know in real estate they have something called a recovery fund. There you go. Why can't we make a recovery fund where, all right, say somebody we know loses their house or something like that, you have to go to this bank that the United States population made, and you have to be qualified enough to get money out of this recovery fund. So say I lose my house or something like that, I will need proof of me having a job that makes below a certain amount of money so I can get money from this recovery fund. If you make $200,000 or you make $150,000 or $60,000 and you come to this recovery fund so you can try and take money out, you can't get any money from it because you're not broke because of circumstances. You're broke because of bad decisions. So you don't get any money from this recovery fund. And that's just an idea off the top of my head. But that's another thing too. Some people are broke because of bad decisions, not because of circumstances. They're broke because they did it to themselves. You have a $60,000 job. You get paid not bi-weekly, but you get paid weekly. You get a steady paycheck every week, and you've had that job for the last 3 or 4 years. You have nothing saved. You have no land. You have no property. You have no stocks. You have no bonds. You have no other sources of income coming to you, but you got a $60,000 job. You're dead broke, going to Ballsy Hills, and you're about to be homeless. Like, some people are broke because of bad decisions and circumstances, and that's really what it comes down to. And most people in America are poor because of circumstances. Unfortunately, I believe it's because of circumstances. Circumstances throughout like 3 or 4 generations of being set up that way. I truly believe that the American public was set up to be poor. We were set up to be poor since the last 3 or 4 generations.
Yep. And my dog just came to say hi. Tiny, crazy dog.
So basically, that's what I truly believe.
No, don't chew on that.
What it comes down to.
He disagrees. Yeah. Why do you disagree, Tim? I'm just kidding.
And I think one of the only ways we can even get out of like these poverty-stricken situations is by making a business. But we can't make a business because we don't have any capital. So you got to start somewhere. We need to get a job. How do we get jobs when they're really honestly, if somebody loses your job today or tomorrow, you'll be unemployed for probably like 6 months to a year. That is just 6 months to a year, maybe even a couple years at that.
Yeah, let me make this clear though. I want to kind of cover all the bases as far as poverty is concerned, and I'm not going to focus on the rich people. If you're already like above middle class or like upper middle class, kick rocks. You're not poor, okay? Um, people who are less than that, and even all the way below the poverty line.
Mike, your microphone's like lowering. It's kind of hard to hear you.
Yeah, I'll be back. I'm about to get some soda.
Okay.
Is this okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So first things first, to get yourself a better lot in life is you need to get a job. You have to invest in something, maybe. Wayne already said, get a business going, or frankly, anything is better than the position you're in the poverty line. Go to college. Even if you have to spend that money on yourself, you're still doing better than what you were before. Or get yourself a job. Work at something that gives you 10, 12, $15 an hour for the rest of your life. No big deal, okay? Maybe your kids will do better than you, but do something better than what you're already doing now. At least make a step in the right direction. Don't go backwards. Don't spend your money on drugs, alcohol. Don't spend it on, mindless entertainment. Actually, Pastor Darby, Steve Darby, he said this very thing, and I wish Wayne was here to hear this. He says to buy tools, not toys. If you can understand what that means, metaphorically, buy things, video games. Don't buy things that are gigantic screen TVs. Don't buy worthless things. Buy books. Buy things on mechanics. Buy things on I don't know, anything that has you creating and not just enjoying. Make something. Make something. Don't just.
Dude.
Don't just. I don't know. Don't just complain. Don't just be content in some dead-end job that's worse than anything you can do that might be better. I mean, if you have the worst job in the universe, the whole world, any job will be a better job. Go get it.
And my thing too is well that goes into the two categories. People are either poor because of circumstances or bad decisions. And that's really what it comes down to, man, all the time. And what honestly, even some people even work minimum wage jobs and stuff like that because of bad decisions that their parents made. Your parents made bad decisions to not change the game plan, to not what's the word I'm looking for? To not build an empire, to not do something. But then at the same time, I understand it's hard, but it's funny. It's hard to start a business more off today than it was a couple years ago. It probably was a lot easier for you to make a business a couple years ago than it is today because marketing, right? You need marketing so you can make a business. And you also need capital, but it was a lot easier to market back in the past than it is today. You can make a business a couple years ago about just teaching people how to build things, right? Say I want to make a business about engineering or something like that, right? And I just wanted to teach people how to build things. All I had to do was pass off flyers, and most people, because we didn't have social media, phones, and stuff like that, try passing off flyers to people today, they'll throw them in the trash. Pass out flyers to people a couple 40 years ago, they would actually read them because people read. It was easier to make a business in the past. So it should have been easier it's not that it wasn't easier to make a business in the past. It was just that the mindset of people in the past were the same mindset that people have today. So the cycle continues. Like we see with people voting Democrat and Republican. It didn't matter who you voted for, because no matter who you voted for, you was going the same way. It didn't matter whether you got your degree a couple years ago or your degree nowadays. It's still just as worthless. Because the people who are over top of the people with the degrees are the people with the businesses who the people with the degrees go to for work. Most people who have businesses don't have degrees. They just have money.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
I was just gonna say that the best thing I can suggest is really, everything that you guys said and more. Like people just use your brain, really put strategy and put some real calculations behind what you're trying to do. And like you said, Mike, don't spend your money on useless stuff, useless crap that's merely there for like one thing, entertainment. You can go spend $60 on a video game, or you can go spend that $60 and get a whole thing of groceries for like a week or 2 weeks. It's
And,
yeah.
and not even that. I mean, we need to just talk about investing, man. Invest your money so you can make a return. How come we don't have people who want to take their tax returns, right? Because tax season
Well,
is coming up.
yeah.
This is a gold idea right here. Tax season is coming up. If you worked the job for the last couple months or whatever like that, and even if you got laid off, they still owe you taxes. So when you get your tax money here coming up, instead of getting that tax money and buying a car or buying a flat screen TV or doing whatever, why don't you buy some property? Why don't you buy like a little apartment and you rent it out to somebody? That's steady money throughout the whole year, and then you take that money because remember they gotta have their first month's rent, second month rent, last month rent, security deposit. So they gotta pay all that, right? And then they gotta pay their month. I mean they gotta pay their rent month to month. So now you made about like what like $1,600 to maybe $2,000 right off of them. So you could just go and buy another apartment and start the whole process over again. Now you
Yeah.
got two properties. You're a landlord of two properties. You own both of the properties or whatever, right? And you just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. And bam, just like that, you start taking over the housing market. Then you get enough money, but you gotta save at least like 15% of your income, and like 2 years down the line, buy a duplex. Then after you buy a duplex, buy another duplex, and just start taking over.
Yeah, exactly. Start
Yeah, I
somewhere.
agree.
Yep. Yep.
But
Just
But tax season's coming up, and if you go and you squander your money, that's it. That's it. So that's one idea. If you didn't have a job and you don't have anything right now, all I can even say is try your best to look for a job. But even that is terrible. So what do you do when you can't get a job? You can also try and file for unemployment, but that's only if you had a job before. Um, if you can't do that, man, because what people don't understand is trying to get a job is extremely hard. I have talked to somebody probably like 2 years ago, and this guy was homeless, living in his car until he found a job or something like that.
yeah.
So it's hard, man. And the people who do have houses, the people who do have mortgages and stuff like that, like they don't know how fortunate they are.
Yep.
Yeah, really.
Um,
But
so-
going to school and getting a degree, I'm not against it. I'm not against going to school. I'm not against getting a degree. I'm not against getting educated. But I am against people wasting their life. We don't live that long. Most people are dying in their 40s. So you know went to school for like 20 years or went to school for 12 years, right? And then you graduate school so you can go to college, and then after you graduate college, you get your degree and you get some entry level job working $40,000 a year, right? But then your college loan is like $125,000. You'll never pay off your student loan ever.
Yeah, yeah. People work for years trying to pay that stuff off.
Some
yeah,
people never pay it off.
the interest would be so much that they would probably die with that debt for their kids. I mean, the way our system is working, our kids can't go to college because our system is it's just even just getting job, hour, 20 hours an hour, that's not a very good wage. I'll be honest, it's not a very good wage. It's something it'll get you by, but it's not very much. Raise a family on it, depending on where you live. Um, just you have to invest in something other than entertainment. Movies, marijuana, drugs, cocaine, heroin, gigantic television screens, buy books, buy science. history.
Bro, you're breaking up really bad.
Oh gosh, what is going on?
I heard that.
Um, just do anything for yourself other than filling your head with bubble gum garbage. Any
Yeah, that's pretty much that's man, that's truth in it. And like at the same time, I mean, how do poor people get rich? The only from what I've seen, how I've seen poor people get rich is they make businesses and they profit off of other poor people. That's pretty much it. I heard one dude say this:
that's
most people
slavery.
get
That's
rich.
Pastor Darby. That's another. I'm gonna bring him up again. That's another thing that he just covered. A bunch of white people in the back had enslaved a bunch of black people and Irishmen. If you don't know it very well, and they profited off of basically having these people work for them for life for no wage other than just food, no wage, and that's how they got rich.
Right.
I don't know.
No, that's so true.
Yes, hundreds of years of empires being built off the backs of slaves, and then those slaves, as Pastor Darby said, got nothing in return when they were freed. So they built an empire through generations and generations of their kids. And those rich people remained rich, and they're rich to this day. That's some empires we see in our country, as far as business-wise. That's how they're rich. I'm not kidding. It's true.
That's pretty much how it is, and that's why most business owners, when they start off, they want to pay people barely like anything, you know.
Yep. Gotta work hard though. That's just what it is. Get a
Yeah.
business, get a good job, get a better job. All thing. Geez, start somewhere. Not.
And it's just like we are being so bamboozled because we keep on getting told the same lie, the same bull crap, and I mean, even people who make $100,000 a year, right? If you don't spend your money wisely, right? You're still going to be in the same boat you were in like before.
Yeah, really. Well, that's been their plan, to try to drive us into debt, drive this country into poverty, and slowly but surely seems to be going for it.
Yeah, man. So with that being said, all I can even say is all of this stuff has been prearranged throughout like the last 4 or 5 generations. Even like even I said my people, we've been enslaved for 800 years, 400 years in America, 400 years in Egypt. So we still waiting for our wages from both sides. Oh boy.
Yep.
People just been using the heck out of just black people, and then black people don't even know their real history. Black people don't even know that they're not just African; they're Hebrew. Don't even know that because that's been stolen from us, man.
I mean,
So
yeah. If anybody wants to learn about the history of the people in this country, at the very least in America, look up the transatlantic slave trade. Britons were in it. The Muslims were in it.
right.
I think Australians were, but just a lot of people, a lot of very powerful empires in the past. I'd say I don't know when Christopher Columbus came to this country. I'm bad with American history, but other types of history I'm good with. Whatever year he arrived in this country, that's I don't know, just transatlantic slave trade.
Oh, that's my cue. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But with that being said, guys, just I honestly I'm tired of it. That's why I really don't know what to say. I'm just tired of seeing so many people struggle, so many people live in poverty, and a lot of it, honestly, it's not their fault. It's because their parents had a bad rep, and their parents had a bad rep, And honestly, like, I can see why people are selling their soul and stuff like that because they want to have money and stuff like that. And it's sad that the only way you can either get money is either sell your soul or because you understand too that you're not going to make any money unless you have connections. If you don't have any connections, you can't make money either. You got to know people. You got to know people who know people who know people. Especially if you want to be rich and famous, you got to have connects. And if you don't have connects, you don't have anything. So.
Yeah, and if you keep a circle of people, you know, to be able to, that's one of the things I was trying to say. You are the company you keep. That's what I was going to say. If you hang around a bunch of broke people all day long, what's gonna happen? Guess what? You're
Yeah.
gonna be broke just the rest of your life.
Agreed. Yeah.
If they're all buying and selling illegal guns, all that stuff, get rid of them. It's a bad habit. And you try to screw it up, you can't hang around. It's just a lot of willpower. You know, get yourself off the street. Get away from the street. Don't be a juggler. Don't be in the don't trap. Don't find not be like people who are around. If they're bad habits, you know. My family, one of them, you know.
Thank God we didn't hear that.
I heard a little bit of it, but it's breaking up a little bit.
Oh, okay. What I'm saying is my family, they grew up in a poverty mindset, you know. Some of them, you know, above poverty. Some of them actually did join the Illuminati, surprisingly. Some of them are very, very poor, you know. We're ill-prepared. They, especially my side of the family, you know, my dad, he's been working minimum wage his whole life. My mom, I don't know, I couldn't be friends with the same people they were, so I started with them, and then I found new friends, and guess what? I own my own business. Booyah.
Boom.
Yep.
Shakalaka. With that being said, you guys, let me just, who knows how many people are going to watch it, but let me just put it out there. If you guys want to learn about real estate, if you guys want to learn about the housing market, if you guys want to learn about just putting yourself in a position where you and your family and their family can be set. And I'm not even pitching a dream where, hey, you'll be rich and you'll do this and you don't have to do any work. You will have to work your behind up. There will be some days where you'll be asking yourself, why am I even doing this? This is so stupid. But in the end, it will be worth it. If you want to put yourself in a position today for a better tomorrow, you can go to www.hedgemoreschool.webs.com and you can learn about real estate, the housing market, banking, investments, stocks, bonds, all of that stuff. It'll basically financially educate you and your kids, so you guys can have a better what's the words I'm even looking for? Future, secure future. A lot of people are going through poverty because it's generational, and it's time for us to break these generational curses down in 2016.
In 2016.
It is, man. It's 2016. It's the 11th day of 2016, and before you know it, it'll be the 12th month and the 31st. The 12th, 31st, day of the month. So, with that being said, guys, that's pretty much all I can even say. I don't even know what else to say. I'm just tired of these people taking advantage of us, man. We've been taking advantage of, especially my people, black people, been taking advantage of for over 800 years.
Yeah, but I do want
to. White people. Just go ahead.
But I would like to remind all viewers to just always remember to leave your rest in the Lord and to really be secure in Him. You know, envy's a pretty terrible thing sometimes, but as long as you got the Lord, you're rich either way. You know, the apostles, Paul, all of them. I mean, Paul wrote that we rejoice in our suffering, and it builds character. And there's no more truth to that than that itself. So, all I can really say is as long as you got the Lord, you're all right.
Yeah.
But that being said, man, I know Paul and Peter. They say, silver and gold we don't have, but we do have is Jesus.
Yep.
And that's also what we. But thank you, Tim, for even bringing us back on track with that. We also, we should remind you guys too that as Christians, some of us, we're going, most of us, not even some, most of us, we are going to die poor, and there honestly is nothing we can do about that. There is nothing we can do about that. But for the things that we can change, which is our relationship with Christ and witnessing and trying to get other people saved, we can always try and do that. So, but that being said, guys, until tomorrow, I'm going to steal Ty Frio's line. Until tomorrow, go serve your king.